I'm sure we've all had that moment where media just either came at the right time or you saw it the perfect time. And this is kind of a personal video for me to make. Last year, around a similar time, if not slightly later, I went downstairs to find my cat barely able to move, not eating because I tried to support him eating. I even blended his food down and tried to syringe it into his near his mouth to try and offer him the food, not into his mouth but near it, to try and help him. And eventually he went still in my arms. Sorry. I don't really want to make my content about stuff like this if I can avoid it, because to me it doesn't help me that much to speak about it. But maybe I'll help someone else. And it's a good way to reflect on something positive that this game gave me. Because you guys might have seen the PNGs associated with the channel. One of them has Storm in the art. Storm was the closest companion I had for almost 20 years. I got him at around 6 years old. I'm 26 now. I was 25 when he died in my arms. And that loss, him being a part of my life, gave me as a person the chance to learn how to be close to someone else. I grew up with a lot of anxiety. I was the sort of kid who wouldn't leave the house unless I was with someone who I had already known for multiple years, and found social situations incredibly difficult. And Storm gave me someone else I could confide in. And it was the first time I had truly grieved for anything. I had never lost anything from death, really, aside from him. And I didn't really know how to voice how I felt. And after he died, I didn't really know how to verbalize what I felt, and I kind of avoided doing it because it had the same outcome as this moment right now, where I'm constantly crying. I keep pausing and finding myself unable to articulate what I really feel, how I felt. I feel kind of uncomfortable and strained talking about it, even though I think it's important. And before that time, before Storm's passing, a song came out that I certainly didn't attach the meaning I do to it now when I first heard it. I thought it was a very pretty song. I thought it was beautiful with what its messaging was. But it's funny how when you revisit something in a different mindset, how deeply it can impact and move you. This song became a voice of what I felt in that moment and what I still do. A song of desperate longing from separation. And I think everyone's had a moment where they feel like a piece of media has captured them perfectly, or at least close enough due to how you interpret it. And Had I Not Seen the Sun has done that for me in a very difficult time. I've had songs capture my happiness. I've had songs capture my sadness. But this was a moment where it kind of permanently... It kind of gave me a step forward into how I could handle things better. Or how I could let those feelings out in a way that even I understood finally. Because for the first few weeks, I would cry uncontrollably, recluse away. I could not bring myself to really talk. Anytime I mentioned it, it hurt. So I couldn't even explain myself on why I felt so sad outside of writing. But writing isn't the best way to communicate with people who are used to hearing you speak. And the fact that you'd have to only resort to writing would worry them, which was the situation I ended up in, where people who I loved and were very close to my life saw me almost regress into that isolated child. So I used the song as a medium for other people as well. I tell them something simple like, I miss him still, and then ask, can we listen to music? And moments like that are irreplaceable in your life. I don't have a whole lot of those. I don't have a whole lot of moments like that where I feel like a piece of media has truly changed either who I was or how I felt about a situation or how I handled it. Yet, HoYo games have done that more than once. Honkai Impact 3rd was the first one to do that. And I'm not going to explain how, because the video's not about that moment. And I don't think I'd probably make a video on that moment either. I feel like stuff like this is deeply personal. And talking about this, it's both because I feel comfortable doing it, because I already broke down in live streams over Storm as it was happening. I've already commented about it on the channel because it heavily impacted me, and of course in that mindset I couldn't do much of anything, let alone make videos. And I think it's a nice thing to bond over when the reality is Honkai Star Rail is probably what brought most of you here, especially the recent influx of people. Star Rail has become a way to connect with other people in a way, because this community currently is full of people who love the game and have their own reasons for loving it. I would have loved Star Rail even without this moment, but feeling seen is so important to everyone. Knowing someone sees you or at least is trying to understand you. It means so much more than I think any words could put it. And in a moment where I didn't really know how to convey what I was feeling, and what I was feeling was something I don't think I could have truly ever understood on my own without a lot of time. Like, I wasn't prepared for it. Storm was getting old. I knew eventually he'd go. But when you have something good, you never want it to end. And you don't think about, or at least you try not to. Or at least in my case I do. I try not to think about how hurt I'd be when he had to go. And that song gave me a way to both understand what I felt in that moment and to explain it to other people through a medium a lot shorter than words, but both have their own power and both can be used in different ways. Hopefully people will understand, of course, if I don't really get back on comments about this. I'm very emotional right now. Today is the anniversary of when I lost him. I'm probably just going to spend, like, I obviously have daily things I need to do, and I also have prep for the upcoming holiday, which I purposefully planned to not be too close to this date because I knew I'd end up this way. But outside of that, I'm probably just going to have a quiet day and talk to family and friends. Like, I don't confide in many people about this, and putting my feelings out there is kind of hard. Because this one thing just repeatedly breaks me down. And I'm getting better, which I didn't imagine I would a year ago. But I think a part of that is not just that time has passed, but more that I'm able to voice my feelings on it better, and in a way I kind of owe StarRail for that. This is an example of a song that has changed how I handled, how I approached a topic that deeply wounded me. And the reason why I both give benefit of the doubt in the cases where Hoyo messes up and believe so strongly in them is the fact that this is a company that has perfectly captured me in ways that I don't think any other game or piece of media ever really has. There are some exceptions, like I'd say another piece of media that heavily has impacted me was Your Name by Makoto Shinkai. I'm not going to go into why, but just know that it has. So for me, it's kind of anything capable of capturing me like that. I want to see how they continue because I have faith in what they're capable of creating because it's already personally touched me. I'm curious what moments have maybe hit like that for people out there, because everyone has different experiences, and how we feel about, even if the experience is similar, how we'll feel about it will definitely be different because we're just not the same. So it'd be nice to be able to discuss, to make an actual discussion of, since I've now been vulnerable, it'd be nice to see that in a way I'm not the only one, but I also am not the sort of person to try and push someone else to tell their story. If you want to talk about, it can be a happy thing. It doesn't have to be a sad thing like it is for me. Like, this story has captured me at some of my worst moments, whether it be StarRail itself or Honkai Path 3rd, and has basically pushed me on in a weird way. And it's also been a source of many happy moments, ones spent with people I treasure and love. Me and my partner still play through 3rd together. Me and my friends and my partner still talk about StarRail extensively. Genshin from time to time can really get the attention of me and people I know. Hell, even ZZZ, which I still believe is a massive Guna game. Its story, based on the things I've heard, is actually pretty decent to the point where I might be willing to try it, but I wouldn't make it a facet of the channel. Hoyo, as much as at times they pander towards specific things and can be very awkward with the execution of certain things, know how to make a story very, very human. And capture some of the emotions that most stories typically don't address. Maybe because it's not the purpose of the story, which is fair enough. Because HoYo games last so many years and cover a range of different points, both highs and lows, for the characters, and create characters from different circumstances and situations, inspired by different areas of the world and different cultures. It feels like there'll eventually be something for everyone in HoYo's games because of the potential that's there, because of the situations they craft that their worlds exist in. And I got that moment in Penacony, and I'm kind of getting it in Amphorius now because of a pre-established love for the Elysian realm. The struggles of Fanon and dealing with cycling behaviours and pain and suffering, and just because it's covering part of my heritage in the world that we're currently exploring and what it's inspired by, as well as interests I had growing up. It'll never probably weigh as much as Had I Not Seen the Sun, and how that captured me in a moment of deep and unrelenting grief, but it's still ways that make you feel seen and can bring a lot of personal joy. And that's something I think all of us will have had a moment of, even if we've never all bawled our eyes out over Star Rail like I have. I think all of us have at least a moment where Star Rail has made us feel a personal sense of joy that goes beyond just the storytelling, because you felt seen or heard. Anyway, this was a very emotional video to make. I know that it's not very well structured, it's come from a very emotional place, so hopefully you guys can understand that. And take care of yourselves, and hopefully we can all keep enjoying this piece of media, and hopefully HoYo will keep making their stories resonate deeply with very human emotion. Or at least try to, because the attempt is what matters. The fact they're even trying to tell these kind of stories in a dignified way